Welcome to episode 17 of Stream Roulette. I'm Daniel Towns with Steph Broadbridge. Hello, Steph.
Hello.
And we watched... What did we watch this time?
We watched Love on the Spectrum US.
That's right. And it was... Let's go. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. Stream Roulette. How are you, Steph?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I probably should clarify that we're doing it over the interweb this time. You came over yesterday, but I need to get a new mic cable, so that fucked up.
Yeah, we just had a nice chat.
So we've had to delay a day, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to this episode, like this show. I got some questions. I got some things I want to. But before we do that, you had a corporate gig last night, which sounds
My first corporate, yeah.
First one, yeah, right. Well, that's good, and it went well.
I wouldn't go that far. I got away with it. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It is such a good feeling when it's done, though, isn't it? Like those ones when you walk out.
Oh, it was amazing.
Like the only thing better than those ones being done is when you get the money for those ones and then you can stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like once you get paid for it, you're like, all right, good. All right, move on.
I invoiced for it before I'd even got in the Uber.
Oh, yeah, nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's organised.
Yeah.
That's very organised. Oh, that's good. Yeah, nice. And it was nice and early. So you had another one after it, didn't you?
Yeah. Then I
another
did
gig.
like a fun gig afterwards to get the stink off.
That's always good too, isn't it? Just to cleanse that palate. Yeah. It's been so cold too. Like it's getting harder to get motivated to go out at night. Like it's hard enough as it is.
I know.
At my age, it's hard enough as it is, and now it's like dark at 5. It's so cold. You know?
Yeah, every time I like, there's a room full of people there ready for comedy, I'm like, why are you here? Like, you could be home. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of see it every year though. Like that, where were we the other night? The casino. Like that was the first day of winter, wasn't it, or the second day of winter? And like it had been cold all week, and that usually happens. Like people go, "Oh yeah, it's winter," and then it'll be quiet for a week or so, and then everyone gets used to it and goes, "Oh well, I guess it's here. We've got to go out." You know?
Yeah, you get sick of sitting at home.
Because I like the food this time of year. You know, like heavy, hearty
Like
stews and soups. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, totally. Like, comfort, you know, Ugg boots, bathrobes,
Yeah. Do you?
pajamas. Yeah, I love it. Oh, yeah, I'm all
right.
about comfort. Yeah. What about you?
I don't like anything.
What would you rather? Would you rather be dressed like that in winter or like in a pair of shorts and a singlet all hot and sticky in summer with windows open, but like it's an Australian summer, you know? So
I don't like extremes, so I like the middle. Spring, autumn.
oh no, same. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
probably 20 days a year in Sydney where the weather's fantastic, but
I pick winter only because it's dark early and I like nighttime better than daytime.
yeah, I like nighttime better than daytime, and I
Yeah.
also like it just feels like winter. You can just control it a bit more in winter, like your temperature. Summer's
That's
just
so true. Yeah.
Summer it's out of control. It's out of your control essentially. If you don't have aircon, you're fucked. And even if you do, you might be fucked. You know, like it's so. I don't know. Trying to sleep. I used to put like we got a portable air conditioner, and only really for the dog because he couldn't handle it. But before we got that, I used to freeze. No, he could. Like he'd lie on the ground. Like we'd tough it out, you know.
You got
he'd
an
be
air
just
conditioning unit for your dog.
no, because they can get heat stroke like really quickly. Like I can have them
Okay.
within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And like if you see them
Yeah.
on a hot day, like they literally don't move. They just lie there panting. They look so uncomfortable. And it's like, all right, this is and they can't say, hey, I'm about to die. So it's like, all right, we better just get one. You
Yeah, but
know?
also
Like
your
our-
dog's living better than me.
Hey, I did like a long time without one, and like the car I have now, which is 10 years old, like
Yeah.
model wise, that's the first car I've ever had that's had air conditioning. and I didn't buy it new. And I didn't buy it new, so I was like in my mid-30s before I even had air conditioning in a car.
Right. You know? So you paid your dues.
Oh, I've more than paid my dues. Like 4 windows open. Used to get to the Comedy Store on summer. I used to drive in, and I'd drive in shorts and like a t-shirt, no shoes on, and I'd take my clothes and then I'd have all 4 windows open. And then as soon as I got there, I'd quickly get changed in the car. Then I'd run inside and I'd stand in the freezer, you know, in between the bar and the other door.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like minus 18 degrees, and I'd just go in there and quickly just take the chill off. I mean, put that chill on because it was so freaking hot outside. Heat's good, like 26 to 32. Like 32 is like the ceiling as far as I'd want to go, and then you got to be in the right place, like either in the shade or at the beach, like by water, or you know.
Yeah. I reckon it's like that. Oh God, I've forgotten his name. The comedian Peter Burner. You know, he's got that joke about air conditioning. I totally agree with him. It's like I want it to be 17 all the time, and I want to put a cardigan on.
Well, I do that usually in like hotels and motels and whatnot on the road.
When someone else is paying. Absolutely.
Oh, and because they're always either boiling hot or freezing cold. Like you get there and the room is like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know, it's the middle of winter and you're in the middle of the country and it's like, it's 0 in the room. Yeah. So you put the heater on and you put the heater on 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's boiling hot. And yeah, you go as low as you can, don't you? And then you wake up at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. with cold feet.
I'll have like 7 showers if I'm staying in a motel.
Oh, really?
Just because like the hot water doesn't run out. So I'm just like, this is amazing.
Oh, but so many of them now have the signs about saving water. I mean, I know you don't have to pay attention to those, but for me, it just it depends on the shower head and the toiletries.
Yeah, true.
Like, but it's got to be a good shower.
I don't have hot water, so it's a real treat for me.
What? At home?
Yeah.
You don't have hot water?
Yeah.
How are you living?
With cold water.
Check out patreon.com/streamroulette if you could. Because Steph's without water and, you know, every little bit helps. And actually, the Patreon's a lot of fun. The episodes over there are a lot of fun. But yeah, right. Okay, wow. Oh, cold. So you're having cold shower.
Yeah.
How the hell do you do that this time of year? Do you have a heater? Like any kind of heater?
I've got like a little oil heater.
Oh, they're good though.
Yeah, they're so good.
Like, they are good. Yeah. Oh, damn it. If you said you didn't have a heater, we really could have pushed the Patreon, but whatever. Good on you. I'm glad you're warm.
Yeah.
Glad you're warm. Yeah, no, we don't even put our heater on here. Like, this place is so warm. You've been here, but I don't know if you've been here in the heat.
No.
Like when it's really, it's probably 10 degrees hotter in here, like, than outside on really bad days.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Yuck.
it's kind of brutal. Yeah. But all right, so Love Actually. I keep thinking that in my head. Love on the Spectrum.
Yes.
US.
Yes. We watched it. Let's do it. How much of it did you watch?
Oh, look, I didn't need to watch that much of it to get the questions that I need to ask. So I only watched 1 episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You watched the whole thing, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I'll just quickly do the blurb just in case. I feel like everyone's kind of across it now, but just in case. It's a romantic docuseries. People on the autism spectrum look for love and navigate the changing world of dating and relationships.
Yeah.
So that's basically the premise of the show.
And what was your first thought?
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I really did too. Yeah. I really did. I really enjoyed it.
I watched all 6 episodes.
Oh, you saw the whole thing. Wow. So there's another veto for you. What's that? 4-2?
Yeah, I'm on 4, I think.
Or was it 4-1? Oh, no, because we both got one for a movie. No, it was fantastic. And you saw how it all played out. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so, yeah, I mean, anything you'd like to say before?
Well, I mean, we go into any of this stuff, there was a couple of things I really loved about this, or what made it really interesting for me. So I don't know if this is right. I couldn't find where to Google it, but I think this might be like the only reality TV show that started in Australia that America picked up. Like, or at least it's got to be one of the only ones, because that's unusual.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe a cooking one or something. Like maybe the Great British Bake Off or something started here, but
I don't think the Great British Bake Off started here.
no, I know what you mean. Yeah, you're right. It probably is one of a few, because most of them down here are redone. Yeah, and it started on the ABC.
Yes, yeah. So
I looked it up because I was like, okay, because I wanted to see if I could answer my questions before I asked you. And it started on the ABC, and then it got picked up by Netflix. It won awards here in Australia.
Yeah.
Like the AACATA or something.
What's that?
I didn't click the acronym. It sounds like what is, so probably something to do with screen and television and film, etc. Like it was well done. Like it was very well done.
Really, really good. So the guy that created it, his name was Cian O'Cleary, and he was also the one that was sort of working on the American version. So he was the voice, the Australian voice you could hear asking the questions.
Oh, that was his voice, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was heavily involved. Yeah.
And because he had another background, he was like working on Star Wars and shit, or like other stuff.
Filmmaker.
Him and someone else kind of had the idea and then pitched it and made it and did all that kind of stuff with it. So, okay, here's my questions.
Okay.
I'm going to approach these. Like, they're genuine questions that I have, but I'm also going to assume that I'm massively ignorant. And
I probably am too, but let's go.
And there's things that... No, but you've always got perspectives that I just... Oh, yeah, I didn't even consider that. All right, I guess the big one is it exploitation? Because I looked, like, before I even asked that question, I should clarify that I did look to try and find as much as I could about the person that created it, because before I asked that, I wanted to find out, all right, well, is he autistic, or is someone in his family been affected by autism? So if that's the case, then no, but... Like, the main reason I ask it is, and this is why I needed to watch one episode for this question to come up, is like, there's a formula for making great shows and great television and all that kind of stuff. And this show is all of that. Like, so it's a love and dating show that people love. So you've got that emotional hook that's going to get everyone in. It's a bunch of people that people are going to have so much empathy for.
Yep.
So they're with the hard life story that sells all those shows, like on Australian Idol and The Voice, and this has happened, and the harder life story. Not harder, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. So it's got that going for it as well. I also looked up if people on the autism spectrum can sign a legal contract without a guardian present. Because I was thinking, all right, was this the parents? Because then were the parents like, oh, fuck, it's so hard. Like, I just want them to meet someone. Like, you don't know the frustration that's going on at home. Like, when, and like, did they take an easier way out if they were approached or they saw an ad? And it's like, well, this is easier than socialising.
So I watched a live podcast where he spoke about the process of finding the people to be involved, and they actually approached him, not the other way around.
So hang on, the people approached him, or the?
Yes. So there was like a call out for people on the spectrum to be involved in the show, and they approached him.
Yeah. Okay. So them or he didn't say them or their parents though, did he? He just said them.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I don't think autism. I think it would have to do with. I mean, I don't know, but I imagine it would be.
Still though, that's how all TV shows are made though. Like those shows, they put a call out. Like no casting person's walking down the street saying to you, "Oh, do you want to come on Big Brother?" Like it's like, "Hey, are you out?"
They do though, right?
Yeah, but there's a general call out. That's happened to a few of our
friends.
Yeah, but that's comedy or
not
like
for
performance.
Not for Love on the Spectrum, even though they would have been eligible.
Yeah, so the contract thing was interesting because it's a grey area. Like, as soon as people hit 18 or the age of where they can take legal responsibility for themselves, they can, and they would be locked into a legal contract. But then prior to that, like before they're classified legally as an adult, the parents can take that power away from them. And because it's a spectrum, like it can go from like people that actually need like oversight and have that straight through to super massively high functioning, like don't. So it's a very, and the show's on, like, I don't know, like this is why I'm asking.
The doctor that was like helping them, she was on the spectrum. So I'm sure she can sign a legal contract. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's got to do with being on the spectrum. I think that would be about maybe a sort of IQ issue, like, or an intellectual disability that might be a grey area. So I think that only would have affected maybe one or two of them.
Yeah, but I mean, that still comes into my questioning then, because they're not, if they can't make that decision themselves 100%, you know, and they're asked if they want to go on it by either their parents or the producers or whatever, like, is that exploitation for ratings and what happened after it? You can't tell me that the producer and the people that created it going into this did not know what they were sitting on when it is the formula. It's so good. Like, you can't. That's why I'm asking these questions. Like, it's a really good show. It's really good, and the fact that it won awards. But then also when people do this kind of stuff, like, and I know why people like it.
Yeah.
Like, I was people in the park are like, oh yeah, my friends watched it and they said they were in tears and you'd love it and blah blah. Like, it's so easy to see, but has everyone been like? And yeah, like, does it raise awareness? Who does it raise awareness for? Us, like, that it's hard for people on the spectrum to date. We know that. Because how many people on the spectrum have you been out with?
A lot.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like, talk to me. Tell me why. Tell me things.
I don't know. I don't know what all the legalities are. I think your point about it being the formula is really is so accurate. And I would go even further than what you said and say it also fulfills the formula of having a group of people who are bad at something try and do something. You know, that whole formula, it's like these people are learning to dance.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not getting a bunch of people on the spectrum to build something out of Lego. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've deliberately picked something that they will find difficult.
Oh, okay. And you can go even further than that then and say, so say they had people that didn't have autism, but that had never dated.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have been the kind of show because you just assume that it'd be a bunch of toothless ferals and, like, people, like, really massively socially awkward people. Like, you know what I mean? But it would all, like, just, or, like, people that you pitied. Like, it'd be, like, because it's like, well, yeah, it'd be pity as opposed to empathy.
What I really liked about it was that there was a couple of stereotypes about autism spectrum disorder that they kind of quashed with this show. So one of them was like that they feel empathy.
I was going to say not the hygiene one.
No. But
that seemed to be a very important criteria. What was the empathy one?
Well, there seems to be the stereotype that people on the spectrum don't understand empathy, which is not true. And this really demonstrated that. There was a lot of empathy from the stars of the show.
Oh yeah, massively, and they were very cute too, like in the sense of
very likable.
Their behaviour, like and their interactions with each other, and and
they were warm people. Like you warmed to them, which again would be another thing. There's like there's the perception that it's always a cold person who's very, very intelligent, but only with maths or science or something in STEM, you know.
But you feel like the topic of the show, which is love, kind of just humanises everyone when you get them at their most vulnerable. Like, when you're asking anyone like those questions, it's hard to not be vulnerable unless someone there's going, I don't know why I've never had a girlfriend. Fucking women are idiots, but like I've never had one. Like, then you understand it. But when it's someone just up there, like, you know, like I think, it's
it was the honesty that really I think captured me, and it was especially clear in the American version of this show because we've watched a few American reality TV shows now because of this podcast and outside of this podcast, and one thing you notice is that every American person is like TV ready. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got their charismatic, like they know how to sit and talk for a camera and be the character they want to be and all that. And if the people on the spectrum, they're just being themselves, like it's just real.
Yeah, and it's got really good production around it.
So it's like the only way to do reality TV now is to get people that are neuroatypical because they'll be real rather than a fake version that they're trying to be.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. Like, are we at that point of the reality TV?
Thanks so much for listening to the episode, guys. We'd love to know what you think of the TV shows that we're reviewing, so you can hit us up on any of the social media platforms. It's Stream Roulette Podcast. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And feel free to let us know what you think of our show too. Like, don't just hold back on the TV shows. And if you really like the show, we've also got a Patreon where we're putting out 2 bonus episodes a month. And it's in the same lane, but it's called Guilty Pleasures. So instead of letting them choose, Steph will choose a show that she loves secretly that I haven't seen, and vice versa. And we have to subject the other one to watch that. So if that seems like something you'd be into, check out the Patreon. That's just Stream Roulette over on the old Patreon website. And
don't you have a podcast coming up?
I do, actually. I'm bringing mine back out. That's the Daniel Towns podcast. So thank you for letting me throw that in there. And also, if you are enjoying this Stream Roulette podcast with myself and Steph, please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes, because that's how these things grow and climb, and that's what we're here for. But anyway, this is enough of this. Let's get back to the episode, shall we?
Done.
Of the reality TV phase, where to stand out, because it's not like autism's new.
No.
Like, so in 10 years' time, is there going to be a reality show on, like, intersections, someone with an intersection, so it's a Mindy project, but autism as well. But, she's also Indian, and, like, there's other things, like, just for the...
I mean, definitely, but I don't think that would affect the actual show itself. I don't think those choices would affect what works about the show. I think what works about the show is the type of brain that you say to them, you have to pay for the woman on a date, and the guy goes, I don't want to pay. Like, no one that's neurotypical would ever admit that on television.
You know what's fascinating to me, though? Like, you haven't been able to answer whether or not it's problematic.
But I don't know.
Like, but that's not a but see, that's what's funny to me, because like I see it all, like you see it a lot with comedy, or someone will hide behind irony, and I'll be there going, no, that's actual just racism, and you're claiming irony.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I feel like a lot of people just consume something, take the word of whoever that's what it is, when it's not that at all. Like, there's no denying that this is a fantastic piece of television. Like, it's great, but like, I'm not saying that it is. I'd like someone to tell me why it isn't. Because if it was anything else, like, surely it'd be considered, like, why are we... Like, just because it's well done and
Well, why is it any more exploitation than regular reality TV would be my question that I would ask back.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that comes down to the question about the signing contracts.
Like, yeah, but why would, like, a 20-year-old who is neurotypical but a fucking idiot that's drunk all the time be more making a smarter choice with a contract signing than someone who's on the spectrum? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're not. But in the eyes of the law, once that person hits adult age, like, that's not a factor. Whereas from what I found with autism, it is and can be, depending on the severity or the, So, like, that's just my question. And I'm sure, I'm sure I could have done a lot more research and found out a lot more stuff. But, like, I thought, maybe you'll have an answer for this.
I have, like, a couple of reasons why you could be definitely right that it is all exploitation. If not that you're saying that, but yeah. So one would be like a couple of other shows that this guy has worked on prior to this show are like really trashy reality TV shows. Like Behind Mansion Walls and Deadly Women are two of the trashiest reality TV shows going around.
Yeah, right.
They're two of my personal favourites, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he worked on those prior to this. So like, this guy's like come from a reality TV background. He hasn't come from like, I was a social worker and saw a need. Like, do you know what I mean? So in that way, you'll probably make a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, as soon as it was on, I was like, because I find this interesting, and I'd like someone to tell me one way or another. Because if not, then, like, if it is and no one's seen it or called it, then you've just got a bunch of people, left-leaning people, like, within the arts that have made that decision to say this is brilliant and it deserves awards because it's this, but it's not that. Like, I'm not saying it should come out with a why it's not, but like,
it's
sometimes people just...
It hasn't won awards for being helpful. It's won awards for being good television.
I think it was the best factual documentary or something, one of them.
Okay.
Like, like here's a good example of that. Like, Kendrick Lamar, you know who that is?
I know of him.
Yeah. That's, you only need to know of him. So, right, like, he's just put out a new album. This one, the one before it, and the one, like the last three, I mean, they've all been concept and high concepts, but like his debut studio album that he put out, Good Kid, Mad City, was just like, he even said it when he put it out. It's not a classic, but I think it could be a classic. Like, it's classic worthy. And it is. Like, there's an extended version of it, 20 songs on it. Like, every single one of them is good. And that, like, blew him up. That was the one that, like, really put him on the map kind of thing. The one that he followed it up with was the one that got all the critical success.
Yeah.
And now there's that saying that like a lot of the time the press is for the one prior, the album prior, but people don't catch on. But there was all this hype about it because it was so experimental. Like, it wasn't, he rapped, but it was rap hip hop, but it was, the music was just like jazz, soul, blues. It was all genres of African American music,
right?
Like, kind of thing. And then the one after that was a little bit more reined in, but still super, super experimental. And then the latest one, put it this way, it's gotten to the point where I like him and I really love what he does, but I haven't rushed out to buy the latest one because, like, the classic one, I'll listen to all 20 songs on it. The one after it, there's maybe 5 that get me, and the rest of it is just kind of like, yeah, I don't think it hit the mark that it was... like, to bridge that piece between music and, like, because it's got to be enjoyable all the time.
Okay.
And then, anyway, long story short, it's like sometimes I feel like the feedback is not for the work that's presented currently. It's for the reputation that precedes it. You know, like, it's the latest work isn't necessarily the most. And also that people just sometimes they applaud and laud things that they don't understand because they think they should. Like, I had that conversation with quite a few people about one of those albums where they were like, oh, this, like, they had all these opinions on it. But then at the same time, they did, and that was the general consensus within the public. But then there was a part of the album at the end that if you knew anything about hip-hop, you would have realised who it was in the album talking. And they didn't even know that, and they couldn't register the person by voice. And it's like, oh, you can't really say if this is a classic album or not if you can't recognise Tupac Shakur just by voice without music. You know what I mean? Like, someone who's that influential, and like, you can't really... I don't know, would you feel comfortable having a massive opinion on one of the best albums of all time within a genre that you couldn't even recognise one of the most influential people from its history?
Right. So are you saying people... I don't understand. What's your point? Sorry, I'm
saying that sometimes I think people, like, in the arts and on the left, they'll see something that is about a difficult subject or something that is a little bit taboo, and it doesn't hit the mark, but people can't identify why or don't want to say it didn't hit the mark in case they're wrong, like we are now. So it gets I'm saying sometimes I think maybe sometimes things get through and get over the line with like all this stuff because people don't know if it's problematic because no one can answer the question on it. And they go, well, it's not offensive. Like they don't have a bus and people like licking, like it's done with taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can't tell me you haven't seen things that everyone's going, this is amazing, this is brilliant, this is so good. And you're like, no, hang on, that's just a really glorified rape joke. Or like, that's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I don't know if this is that though. It wasn't for me anyway. I didn't feel that way. I would say, if anything, after watching this, people will be a lot kinder to people on the spectrum. I feel like that would be the takeaway.
We were manipulated to feel that way?
I mean, I don't know if we were manipulated, but that certainly was the intent, was like, they're people, they have feelings, they want the same things everybody else wants. And that's kind of a nice message. Like, it's hard to shit on that as an idea.
No, I completely get that too. But isn't that a little bit like patronising and condescending to the people that are featured in the show? Like to assume that most people that are watching a show like that on Netflix wouldn't know that?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm not diagnosed with autism, but I'm pretty sure I have it. And it didn't offend me.
I think the show would have succeeded.
It didn't offend me at all.
If we could do a study and within 10 years' time that we could find out that since this show that dating and breeding has gone up between autistic and non-autistic people, then I'd say the show has been massively successful. But if all it's done is made people that don't have autism go, oh, yeah, they've got it hard, like, is that success? Like, has it done those things?
But I don't think it was done in a way where it was like, oh, that was hard for them. I think it was more just like, oh, they want that. They're people. That was, yeah. Like, dating's hard for everyone. Yeah. The only difference with this show and a normal dating show is that the people on this show were still themselves despite the cameras, which I don't think neurotypical people that want to be on television are capable of doing. So for me,
and that's why it was so good.
It was literally just, you put anyone on a date, you take away the cameras, that's what you get anyway. But with this, it's like you could put anyone on a date with the cameras and you still get them. So that's what made it compelling.
But that's where all my questions come from, that as well, because what you just said about like people on dates and like like the people that made this show knew that. Like, they've come from a reality TV background. They know what it attracts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, once you start mixing with people that everyone's going to empathise with for all the reasons that you've listed, like, that's a winning formula.
Yeah.
And that's why I was looking into, all right, has this person been affected by autism? Like, is it in his family? Is it himself? Is it, And this whole thing could have been crushed in one sentence. Maybe we should do a hard-hitting... Look, I'll try and get in contact with the guy. I need to talk to Netflix anyway, because you're going to be about the next one. I've got to send an email to Netflix. Dear Netflix.
I think having the doctor that was there as a support person, also on the spectrum, fixed and justified a lot of the choices they made.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there's no denying that it was a great show. Like, I really enjoyed it. But, like, before I dove further into it, I just wanted to see if we could get any clarity on those. And we couldn't really, could we?
Yeah. I didn't find it offensive, but I also understand why people would.
I don't think it's offensive. I don't think it's offensive at all. But I'm asking, like, is it though? Is there a level, because of all those factors that are known on the, like, by the people that made it? Like, this is assuming that it's not something that's affected them personally.
I think as reality TV goes, it's probably the least exploitive of all of them to the people on the show.
Okay. All right.
I think all reality TV is exploitive. So.
Oh no! Of course it is. Of course it is.
So this one's probably the least out of most of them.
Well, wait till you see their next one that they're doing. It's called Turn That Frown Upside... Turn That Frown Upside Down syndrome.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So... All right. Well, look, check it out. If it sounds like it is good, it's good TV. So I'd say, yeah, check it out. Like, I'd maybe answer my questions or don't. Like, I don't know if people can. And I'll think about it some more and do some more research. But my journey with the show isn't ending here. I thought I'll see what you say and then I'll dive back into it. Like, I know Amanda will like it, so I'm definitely planning on watching more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to see if you could shed any light on it before I did.
Yeah. I don't know what you want me to say.
Okay. No, that's all right. That's all right. Well, do you want to hear what we're doing next time?
Yeah, go on.
And this is why I'm going to have to email Netflix, because I'd really like to know how their algorithm actually works. But, I mean, it's Stranger Things.
Okay.
So I've seen the first 3 seasons, but I really liked the first one. And then I didn't enjoy the second one as much. And then by the third one, I was like, I'm over this. And I just forced through it. So it's not a show that I want to watch. Like, I'm not on the hype train.
How many seasons are there?
There's 4.
Okay. So am I
And you
starting
haven't
at
seen it at
4
all.
or am I starting at 1?
No, you start at 1.
Okay.
And I'll start at 4, but I'm going to go back to 1 too, because after I see what happens to me with 4, like, I want to go back and see what it was about 1 that I like so much. Because honestly, we watched the first season and the second season. They're 45-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And we did them in 2 nights each, so it was like 4 a night. Like, because the first one was so addictive, and it was just. But I want to go back and see if that's what it was. Like, I thought the first season was phenomenal. I was on that hype train, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't need to watch that. So I'm actually curious to see if it can redeem itself or what. You know? Yeah, and it's a hype show. But yeah, I'd like to know why it came up, because this is, like, surprise me, things that you may like, right?
Yeah.
And there's no indication in our thread of things that sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, the closest sci-fi thing we've got is that show that we did like where that person had that weird morphing ability that was the one weird thing about it.
Yes.
Whatever that was, In From the Cold or whatever.
Yes.
But that wasn't even, that was a drama.
Yeah, and
So,
that was
you
the
know what
part
I mean?
of it
So
we didn't like.
Yeah, so the algorithm-wise, it hasn't fit with anything that we've liked, and also it's their show. It's the number 1 show.
Okay.
Like, we've had things in the top 10. Like, a lot of them are from the top 10.
Yeah.
But this is, yeah. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see, and I'm keen to see what you think about it too.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll recognise our theme music in their theme music.
Okay.
Because that's the little Netflix jingle. Not that, it's been tampered with, but in our intro. So there you go. So that'll be episode, 18?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking forward to that one.
Should be good.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. Bye.
See?